Yo, what's up YouTube? Today I got a settings video for you. We're just gonna go through and basically go over the dead zones and all the little stuff. Make sure you're playing right, aiming right. So let's get into it. Let's go over to settings here. We're gonna start off with the controller here. I play on bumper jumper. Whatever layout you play on, it's fine. It is what it is. I recommend bumper jumper. I also claw with my controller, so I don't know, whatever's comfortable, whatever you've been playing, just use that. Default thumbstick, turn off your vibration. You don't want that messing up your shot, messing up your aim. All the invert shit, I have that off. This is important, off rip. This is on toggle, so you want to switch it to hold to crouch just so you can crouch smoothly in your strafes when you're in gunfights and stuff. So make sure you toggle that on, because off rip it's off, which means you toggle it to crouch, which means you're going to be stuck in crouch until you click in the stick again. So make sure you have that checked. I keep maintain sprint on, is just my preference. I like it. You can take it off if you want, but I recommend you leave it on. Next one is step jump. I feel like this is pretty important. Those like small little ledges you jump on, this will make sure you don't jump at the max height, so you're not just floating in the air above the, like once you get over the ledge. It's like the height of the ledge, you just jump and get over it. It's yeah, it just allows for better movement because you'll be on the ground faster. And now the important stuff. So sensitivity and acceleration. I got my look acceleration to 5, my horizontal sensitivity to 5, and my vertical sensitivity to 8.5. So all of this, you could copy this, but it's really just based on personal preference. You could start off with this as a base, but I definitely recommend you go in and experiment with it. Like sometimes if it's too fast, I'll drop it down to 4, my horizontal sensitivity some days, but usually I'm at around 5. Now, again, just go and experiment with the look acceleration. If you don't know what that is, it'll just accelerate the speed of which you look when you hit the maximum like threshold on your thumbstick, which we'll get into threshold soon. But yeah, just go ahead and play around with this. The reason my vertical sense is like a lot higher than my horizontal is just because like I can get those like quick flicks up to the head if I'm not like head level looking at a corner or coming around a corner, or like when I'm looking at an enemy. So it's just an easy flick, like a little small flick, and it'll boost me up, or even back down if I'm looking too high or low. So that's why I have that. Moving on to zoom sensitivity, I haven't touched this at all. I like it default. You can mess around with this, but for me it's fine, like at 1.4. So yeah, now the dead zones here. So the move thumbstick, which is like the left thumbstick, the one you move around with, I got my center dead zone 6, which is the minimum. So the center dead zone is, think of it as the closest to the inside of the joystick. So the lower that this number is, the slightest movement you have, like the less input it takes to move. Basically, the higher it is, the more you have to push the stick to move. So you could put this down to 0. I have it 0 on COD, especially for my right stick, but I feel like I'm comfortable with 6. I might drop it later. It just really depends on what I'm comfortable with. But for now, I like 6, and I'm going to keep it at 6. Now, the max input threshold. Now, the lower this is, basically, the lower this is, the faster your acceleration, the faster like the max input is going to be. So, on a controller, let's see if I can bring this up. Okay, so this right here is max input when I push it all the way to the edge, right? Now, basically, what this is saying here is that I hit that max threshold with like instantly, basically, when it's at 0. But if I put this all the way up to 15, it'll take me like more effort on pushing the stick to hit that max input. So yeah, because it's gradual, right? So like the lesser you push it, like it's like gradually gets higher. But with 0, it'll just instantly hit the max on that thumbstick. I hope that wasn't too confusing. The axial dead zone. So boom x-axis, boom y-axis, right? This is basically the dead zone, like how much you push the stick to switch between those two, what do you call it? Those two axes? I don't know. But yeah, basically switching between vertical and horizontal. So I have it at 2. You could put it down to 0 as well. It's just gonna be more sensitive on the joystick. Again, these dead zones, especially the center dead zone and the like basically so the dead zones basically mean like how sensitive your stick is gonna be in a sense to the slightest movement. All right, so over here, the same stuff applies to this. I have my center dead zone at 4 on this, so this is the right stick. and then I have my max input threshold. I just got that like 1 tick below the average or the default. And then axial I have 5. Again, right now this is what I'm comfortable with. I might mess around and switch it up later if I feel like that it's better, but I recommend you do that as well. Like, you could copy these for now, but play around with it. You know, that's kind of why I explained what each thing does, so that you understand what each of these settings do, right? So that when you're in the game, you can be like, okay, let me try this out, and then you know what you changed, and you can see and test that in the game because you understand what you actually changed. So yeah, right now, like, you could just copy these. This is what I'm comfortable with, but again, just experiment with them. Then we're not gonna do keyboard and mouse. I don't play keyboard and mouse. If you play keyboard and mouse Halo, you're pretty fucking weird. But anyways, field of view. I had this at 100 on Vanguard. I play at 105. On any COD really, I play at 105. But 100, I had it at 100, and I felt like it was a little too high, so I dropped it down to 95. I might keep dropping it, but right now I'm liking 95. So yeah, I'd recommend not going past 100 really. Make sure you're using your best monitor, as if you have like a multiple monitor setup, make sure this the best monitor is selected, the one with the highest hertz. Let's come down here. Okay, so make sure your maximum frame rate is set to the highest your monitor can do. So my monitor is 144 hertz, so the most it can do is 144, which is why I have it. It'll show you it's like maxed out, so just I have it selected on that. Otherwise, then you won't get as many frames as your PC is pushing. You might be capped here, so make sure to check that out. Turn VSync off, and I turned on limit inactive frame rate. This basically, like, when I tab out of the game or like, you know, yeah, basically when I tab out of the game or minimize it, this will drop my frames per second to 30. It'll just save your GPU in the long run. So it's not processing when you're not even like have the game open. So yeah, right now I have all my graphics on low basically just because I'm recording. So yeah, and then oh yeah, I came down here. I turned blur down to 0, and I turned screen shake down to 0, because like in Call of Duty, I hate when there's blur and like the screen shakes on nades and shit and streaks. So I was just like, again, that's just gonna mess up your shot, your movement, all that, your visual clarity basically. So I turned it all down to 0. Speed lines, I don't know, you can turn that off if you want, and these other ones are fine in my opinion. The exposure is fine. I might play around with that, but to me it's fine right now. So moving on to audio. Again, I might change these up, but for right now, this is what I feel comfortable with. This is what I like. So I have the voice at 10. Basically I just turned the music down like all the way because I'm not trying to hear that, right? Yeah, and then where is it? Okay, dynamic range. So see, if you read this, dynamic mode basically means the loud sounds are loud and the quiet sounds are quiet. And compressed mode is basically that they're all mixed at the same sound, right? So I thought, oh, this dynamic mode might suck because explosions are going to be really loud. Things you want to hear like footsteps and maybe gunfire from like far away are going to be really quiet. So I changed it to compressed, but I didn't really notice a difference. So I just went back to dynamic. You can go to compressed, try it out for yourself, but for me, I just didn't really notice a big difference there. And then coming down here, that should be all for audio. Come to UI. So make sure you have, where is it? The FPS counter and your network statistics on, just because then you can look up at the top right of your screen over here and see if you have latency and see how many frames you're getting. Just, you know, some quick information for you on screen there. Coming down here, I have the enemy UI color as red. I might switch it to a yellow here. I want to try that out. I tried that out on COD, but I used to only play on red. This is just, again, a preference thing. Like, I'd recommend picking between red and yellow, but it's really up to you. If you want to make your enemies look a different color, go ahead. But I'm going to try out yellow because I liked it on Vanguard when I was playing earlier this month. That should be it for the UI here. Yeah, and I think that's it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's pretty quick, pretty straightforward. I hope I explained some of those settings in there because some of them are really hard to understand. But yeah, make sure to like, comment down below what video you want to see, any tips video, any sort of pro video, map breakdown, whatever. Just comment down below what you want to see, and make sure to subscribe. So yeah, I'm out.